wind cut through the empty streets of Silver Ridge like a blade, carrying with it the kind of cold that settled deep into bones and refused to leave. It was Christmas Eve, though you wouldn't know it by looking around. No laughter filled the air. No lights glowed warmly from windows. Just silence, broken only by the distant creak of loose wood and the low whistle of winter pressing against a town that had forgotten how to celebrate. Inside a small, worn-down cabin at the edge of town, Emily Carter sat curled near the dying embers of a fire that had long since lost its strength. Her hands trembled slightly as she held them close to what little warmth remained, her breath visible in the freezing air. She hadn't eaten properly in 2 days, not because she didn't want to, but because there was nothing left. The last piece of bread had been gone that morning. The small sack of flour she had stretched for weeks now sat empty in the corner. And the coins she once had were spent long ago, traded for survival in a place that had no mercy for the weak. She pulled her thin shawl tighter around her shoulders, though it did little to stop the cold. Her eyes drifted toward the small wooden table where a single candle flickered weakly, its light barely enough to push back the darkness. Christmas Eve, she thought bitterly. Once it had meant something. Once there had been warmth, voices, and the smell of food filling a home that felt alive. But that life had ended the day her father never came back from the hills. After that, the world had slowly taken everything else. Friends stopped visiting. Neighbors stopped asking if she was all right. And the town simply moved on, as if she had become part of the background, just another quiet shadow no one needed to notice. A sharp gust rattled the door, making her flinch slightly. She glanced toward it, her heart tightening for a brief second before settling again. No one came here. No one ever did. She had learned not to expect it. Slowly, she leaned back against the wall, closing her eyes as exhaustion pulled at her. Hunger had a way of doing that, making everything feel heavier, slower, harder to fight. Maybe she would sleep. Maybe that would make it easier to forget the ache in her stomach, the cold, the loneliness. But just as her eyes began to close, a knock echoed through the cabin, soft but clear. Emily's eyes snapped open instantly. She didn't move at first, didn't even breathe. For a moment she thought she had imagined it. The wind had been loud, the night had been restless. But then it came again.